Alright everyone, today we are going to make some scrambled eggs because it's Sunday. I love breakfast and it's freezing rain cold outside here in the Chicagoland area. So we're going to heat it up a little bit and stay indoors. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through kind of some common tips that I've found, that doing research on the net, the interwebs. Some just little small things that can make scrambled eggs that much better, and better than maybe what you're putting out in your kitchen right now. So I got sea salt. I prefer sea salt to regular salt. Ground black pepper and olive oil. You can use butter if you prefer. Really doesn't matter. Just butter or olive oil will work. Some people don't like olive oil with eggs, so if you prefer butter, go for it. I love butter, but butter does not love me back. So we got some organic eggs from Costco. Obviously don't have to be organic. They can be any kind you want. Not a problem there. Mixing bowl, utensils, plate. Let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to make 3 eggs. Lucky number 3. Perfect for just little old me. First tip. Crack your eggs on a flat surface. Cracking your eggs on a flat surface keeps the membrane intact so that the shells don't break off quite as easily. You don't get shells getting in the middle of your eggs here. If you crack them on the side of the bowl, they tend to break all the way off, and then you have to try to fish them out, which is a big pain in the butt. If you do have to try to fish them out, if you wet your fingers with water before you try, it makes it a lot easier to get in there and get the shells out. Another tip. Before I beat the eggs together, it's important to salt them. Nice healthy pinch of salt. Reason being, salt will break down the proteins in the eggs and actually help them retain moisture. I'm not going to get into all the science of it all. I don't know it. I read it from somebody else. But I do know that does work, and it does make a big impact on the moisture level of the eggs. So that's another tip. See, all these tips would take you forever to find out, but if you just subscribe to our channel, you will get them, and I will do all the hard work for you. So what you'll see is, as I'm kind of beating these, what I'm trying to do, I use a fork as opposed to the other kind of egg beaters. And what I try to do is get kind of like a lift motion with my hand and wrist to kind of lift the layer of the eggs and then mix them thoroughly. And what that does is it kind of creates pockets of air and traps air in there. You can kind of see right here some of the air bubbles that we got going. And that just makes them all that much more fluffy. Alright, so ideally you would let the salt dissolve for about 10 to 15 minutes to really make the biggest impact as far as retaining moisture goes. So I'm going to do that, then I'm going to be back and put another secret ingredient in here that you've probably not considered before. So be right back. Alright, we're back. So now time to add the secret ingredient, and it is sour cream. Yes. A lot of people add milk to their eggs. Helps a little bit. Not as good as sour cream for making them extra creamy and fluffy and moist. So put a good, healthy dollop, whatever, however you say it, in with your eggs. Good, healthy tablespoon or so. If you're doing like 3 eggs like this, it should do it. And beat the sour cream into your eggs now. Get it all good and mixed together. Same scenario. You want to lift, try to get air pockets trapped in there, make them extra fluffy. And you can just already see that this is getting good and creamy. And then we will come back and we will put this in the pan. Now I like to use a very hot pan when making the eggs. Some people will say cook them really low and slow, kind of like barbecue, to just kind of really slowly bring them together. I've tried both. I like doing a really hot pan to both speed up the process, and I think it tends to trap a lot of that air and moisture in really fast. So it kind of, the faster they form, the more air gets trapped in them, and the fluffier they are. Experiment yourself, but that's the way I like to do it. So we'll be back. We'll put it in the pan. All right, we've got our pan here. Let's light her up on high. Good idea to let your pan kind of heat up by itself for a good 30 seconds or so to get it good and hot before we put in the olive oil or butter, or whatever it is that you're choosing to use. Got our eggs over here ready to rock and roll. Now when I get these going, it's going to go really quickly. They're going to form really fast because it will be a hot pan. So my technique is generally to keep just folding it over, getting it off the sides, and just kind of keep folding it over into layers, and you'll see how they come out nice and fluffy. I like saying that word, fluffy. Alright, let's get some oil in here. We're going to do a good healthy tablespoon, probably, or give or take, olive oil. I like to kind of work it around the pan on the edges a little bit to get it good and lubed up. Let the olive oil get heated up. Now, if you've not done a lot of cooking in the past, usually when you put your olive oil in, you want to look for it to kind of get like a shimmering effect going as you look at it. That's when you know kind of it's heated up and hot and ready to go. And the good news is the coffee's ready. Alright, we're good. Let's get these eggs in, get my spatula, and off we go. Hear that sizzle. Get as much as I can get out of the pot bowl here. Alright, now let's work it. If you have a smaller pan, that could help too, kind of keep everything together. I wanted to use the larger one here just so you can kind of really see good. And this is probably one of my favorite pans just because it really doesn't stick very much. It's pretty easy to clean and cooks well. So you can see it's already forming because it is hot. So I'm going to just keep folding it over. And just look how fluffy those are. Moist. It's going to be phenomenal. And really right here, get some of these other pieces off. I'm going to stop. Don't want to overdo them. Let's get them in the plate. Slide out nicely. Alright. These are ready to go. Now some people would mix in cheese when you're making the eggs. I don't like to do that. I like to sprinkle it over the top at the end if you want to add cheese, just so you can control the distribution, and it melts pretty fast. Otherwise sometimes you get big clumps of cheese mixed in and things like that. So alright, I'm going to finish these off with just a little bit of cracked pepper. Like I said, this would be a good time to sprinkle on some cheese and let it melt over the top if you like. But we're going to keep this simple and hope you can just kind of see the softness and the moist eggs we've got going on here. They are just really good. Bon appetit. Phenomenal. Alright, well I hope you found that helpful. I hope your eggs turned out as good as mine. They are phenomenal. Perfect. So if you like getting tips like these, please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, subscribe to our channel, and we'll be putting information out like this, home improvement projects and everything else to step up your game at home. If you have any questions or any ideas for videos you'd like me to work on, let me know in the comments. Other than that, thank you very much.